Majesty at your service. Welcome to Therapy Talks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, Valuing Time. It's about time we appreciate the moments we experience in this thing we call life. There are numerous idioms about time because of its universal importance and our constant interaction with it. Time is a fundamental aspect of human experience, and we use idioms to express how we feel about its passage, its value, and our relationship with it. These idioms also help us communicate complex ideas in a concise and memorable way. In the digital sphere, and how our algorithms are customized shape our perception of the zeitgeist. Therefore, how we individually define the spirit or mood of a particular period of the month, week, or day is impacted by the ideas and beliefs of what we're exposed to. Considering this, wherever you are in the world, or even the stage of your life, your perception of time is altered, as we don't all have a universal experience. This is why, whatever situation we live in, how we choose to live, think, and act must be governed in how we value the time we are given. While a day is technically 24 hours, 86,400 seconds, realistically, most people don't have full use of that entire time due to sleep, hygiene, eating, and other essential activities. The average human day includes about 9.1 hours of sleeping, 4.6 hours of passive and social activities, and time for eating, hygiene, and other tasks. So if we individually have around 4.6 hours of passive, interactive, and social activities, what we do with that time is precious because the other time is dedicated to everyday responsibilities. So, on today's episode, I would like to discuss the concept of time. I want to explore the value time holds by exploring common phrases we hear about time, idioms, and what it can mean to us, how it could add value to the time we have existing in this world. So, before I explore idioms, let's talk about understanding the concept of time and what idioms add to us communicating about time. So, time's impact on human experience. Time is a fundamental concept that shapes our lives, influencing everything from our daily routines to our long term goals. Because it's so pervasive, we naturally develop a rich vocabulary of expressions to capture its nuances. Figurative language. Idioms are a type of figurative language using words and phrases in a non literal way to convey a deeper meaning of all feelings. By using metaphors and similes, we can explore abstract concepts like time in a creative and evocative manner. Cultural influence. The idioms we use about time are often rooted in our cultural values and beliefs about the nature of time. For example, some cultures might emphasize the importance of punctuality, while others might prioritize living in the moment, and these values are reflected in the idioms they use. Efficiency of communication. Idioms allow us to convey complex ideas about time in a concise and memorable way. Instead of having to elaborate on a specific concept, we can simply use an idiom that encapsulates the idea. Richness of language. Idioms add to the richness and complexity of language, allowing us to express ourselves in a more nuanced and creative way. They also help us to make language more interesting and memorable, making it easier for speakers to connect with each other and make it easier to hear. In the interest and respect of your time, I'd like to discuss three idioms with you, being the following: one, time is money; two, Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day that we do; and three, time heals all things. So Time is money. The saying time is money suggests that time, like money, is valuable and a limited resource that we should use wisely. It emphasizes the idea that wasted time can be seen as a lost earning potential. I'll elaborate. So, metaphorically, the phrase is like a metaphor, not a literal statement that over time, time can be converted into money unless, you're working for it literally and being paid for the hour. But it highlights the economic value of time, meaning that time spent working or engaging in productive activities can lead to financial gain. Opportunity cost. Wasting time can be seen as losing out on opportunities to earn income or pursue other valuable endeavors. Historical context. The phrase is often attributed to Benjamin Franklin, who used it in his advice to a young tradesman to emphasize the importance of using time effectively for financial success. And it's in its modern application, while often used in a financial context, the saying can also be applied to various aspects of life, such as managing time, prioritizing tasks, and most importantly, avoiding procrastination. Our financial circumstances impact what we do with our time. When I look at people living their best lives in retirement, I see individuals who have spent their working lives and time considering their lifespan and the quality of their life thereafter. Yes, they may have had to work hard or smart to ensure they invested their money, but it led them to own their time, which leads me to a highly disputed idiom about time, which is Beyonce has the same 24 hours in the day that we do. One of the widely dissected quotes by Molly was her comparison to Beyonce's 24 hours. So she said, Beyonce has the same 24 hours in the day that we do. And I think, like you're given one life and it's up to you what you do with it, you can literally go in any direction. So that was her quote. So she was insinuating that everybody has the ability to make whatever they wish of themselves and failing to acknowledge the high stool of privilege a lot of us sit on, or a lot of us lack due to circumstances outside of our control. So there's a lot of privilege in having options in what we do with our time. This privilege is founded on our financial position. So for myself, I work part-time. So as a part-time worker with a husband who is the breadwinner of my household or our household, I experience the privilege of time. Time to rest, time to look after my home, time to teach Zumba, and have an amazing podcast like Fairy Queen Talks. My husband, on the other hand, does not have the same privilege of time as me. Yet we are living in the same household. The circumstances for me to have this privilege does have a financial impact. However, the psychological benefit it provides me and my family outweigh the financial impact. I can make it to my children's school performances, be a more rested and peaceful person, mother and wife. Beyonce, I'm sure, with all her privileges in how she organizes her day, may also have disadvantages and things that impact her life outside of her career that we may not see. At the end of the day, we all have privileges and challenges in our time if we choose to view it as such. We have to work within our realms of possibility and financial reality. We have to consider what we value more, actual money or time with those we love, even if it means we live with less money. And last idiom, time heals all things. The saying time heals all wounds suggests that as time passes, emotional pain and grief diminish. But the reality is more complex. While time can help individuals process and adapt to loss, Some wounds, especially those related to trauma or, or prolonged grief, may leave lasting scars or require additional support. There's a more nuanced way of looking at this statement. So let's explore some of this truth and nuances. So time can facilitate healing. Time does allow for the processing of emotions and grief, and some people may find that their initial pain subsides over time. Individual experiences may vary, so the impact of time on healing can vary greatly depending on the nature of the wound, the individual's coping mechanism, and their support system, which is key. Not always a linear process. So the healing process isn't always linear, and some individuals may experience periods of regression or setbacks along the way. Active participation is key. While time is a factor, actively acknowledging, addressing, and caring for emotional wounds is crucial for healing and moving forward, as suggested by Psychology Today. Trauma and prolonged grief. Wounds related to trauma, particularly childhood trauma, may have a lasting effect that requires specialized support and therapy. Prolonged grief, such as that experienced after death, can also have significant impact and may not necessarily decrease with time. And the role of therapy. Therapy and support groups can provide valuable tools and strategies for processing big emotions and healing from trauma and other difficult experiences. So, in conclusion, when we hear, while time heals all wounds, can offer a comforting sentiment, it is important to recognize that the healing process is complex and an individual one. Time can be a factor in allowing for emotional processing and adaptation, but it is not a guaranteed cure all. Active participation in your healing process, seeking support when needed, and addressing underlying issues are crucial for overcoming emotional wounds and moving forward. If you want to explore what you value, monitor how you spend your time in a month period, a week, or in a day. If you're not happy with what you find, take the time to reevaluate and rearrange your routine so that your time is spent on things you truly value. At the end of each episode, I address the queendom. Time is precious. Let's value every moment of life. Thank you so much for tuning